Day 8 of Operation Restore Hope. U.S. Marines roll in and lock down the place in Somalia known as the Heart of Hunger. In London, terror attack again at the height of the Christmas shopping season. A war of intimidation with the Irish Republican Army. And Eye on America. Tonight, how the U.S. defense industry is struggling to survive in the post-Cold War era.
Well, now, with this machine, you're competing against King Kong, climbing the Empire State Building.
This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, Dan Rather reporting. They made it, and without firing a shot, hundreds of U.S. Marines and French legionnaires took over Baidoa, the heart of Somalia's triangle of death starvation zone. They are now face to face with indescribable suffering. But one Marine said that for him, it will be the best Christmas ever. Bob Simon reports tonight from Baidoa.
The Marines rode down the road to hunger today, to the town that starving children put on the map. From the halls of Montezuma to a room in hell called Baidoa. Outlying villages that moved by donkey met Humvees, light armored vehicles, Cobra helicopters armed to the teeth. Just before the last stretch, the Marines got word that there would be no trouble in Baidoa, that the local warlords had in fact stacked all their weapons at the airport and were waiting for a handover ceremony. The Marines were greeted by waves and wonderment. They brought smiles to what had been a street without joy. At the airport, they were met by 90 self-styled security guards standing in formation, asking to be turned over to the American command, to the men who loomed as giants in their eyes. The day couldn't possibly have gotten off to a better start.
We were able to do a lot of waving, a lot of smiling, and no shooting, and that's the way we prefer it.
They brought in food flights right away and went out on patrols, passing by but not noticing the stack of infants who hadn't made it through the night. Doctors at Baidoa Hospital were pleased the Marines had come to town, but it didn't affect this morning's workload very much. They were treating a boy who'd been shot in the leg. The Marines escorted their first food convoy to an orphanage. 100 men guarded 2 pickup trucks. It was a relief mission and a photo opportunity. This was the picture the world had been waiting to see. The orphans sang "Welcome Special Friends," while Major General Charles Wilhelm worked the crowd.
Well, I think this orphanage speaks for itself. You know, you just look around, and if you want a definition of the word need, I think it's better in a dictionary.
While the Marines were immersed in this sea of smiles, 22-year-old Hassan Ali was rushed to the Baidoa Hospital. He'd been shot in the chest in the Central Market, an area the Marines have yet to patrol. He was in critical condition. Word spread quickly. His family gathered outside to offer blood. As he was carried to the operating room, other casualties started pouring in.
What's the other one? We've got a gunshot.
A 20-year-old named Elmi shot in the arm in a clan dispute, an older man with a severed hand. Hassan Ali received open-heart surgery from an overworked paramedic. There was no anesthetic.
Does it make me sad? I don't know. Ask me that when there's a kid on the table.
The big day for the Marines was getting to be a bit much at the Baidoa Hospital.
Come on. Come on, let's go.
By dusk today, the Marines had conquered an airport and an orphanage. Elmi lost his arm. Hassan Ali was clinging precariously to life, and the besieged relief workers were asking when or whether this hell called Baidoa would ever begin to change. Bob Simon, CBS News, Baidoa.
The United Nations tonight set up its 4th major peacekeeping operation of the year to go along with Somalia, Bosnia, and Cambodia. 7,500 soldiers and civilians will monitor the civil war ceasefire and elections in the African nation of Mozambique. It is not expected that U.S. combat troops will take part there. The Irish Republican Army sent its traditional pre-Christmas message to England today. Terrorist bombs that caused panic among holiday shoppers. Barry Peterson in London has our report.
In an instant, noontime Christmas shopping turned to panic.
Can you move back, please?
2 blasts sent thousands from London's busiest shopping district scurrying for safety and disrupted traffic and public transit across the city.
I'm just trying to do Christmas shopping and it's ruined it completely at the moment.
Police said a telephone warning was deliberately unclear.
This seems to be a continuance of this obscene game which the IRA wished to play with the police.
One thing the bombs did not shake was the British resolve not to be intimidated by the IRA.
No, they'll never win. No, well, the British people determined that they won't.
Miraculously, there were only a few minor injuries. In the last few weeks, that has not always been the case. A recent blast inside a pub killed one man. Bombs at a shopping center last week injured 8. In the northern city of Manchester, 64 were hurt in explosions that caused $20 million damage and lost business and blasted buildings. The attacks are only the most recent in a 20-year litany of terrorism to force the British out of Northern Ireland. The British today offered a truce. They'll confine their troops to barracks if the IRA will stop the bombings. The IRA is not likely to agree, so the British tonight are braced for more of this Christmas campaign of terror. Barry Peterson, CBS News, London.
In this country, authorities in Nashville, Tennessee are investigating another case of white-on-black police brutality. The irony is that the victim himself is a police officer. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld reports that this is just one more example of what is emerging as a national problem.
Officer Reggie Miller, who is black, was on an undercover assignment Monday night when his pickup truck was stopped on a Nashville street for a traffic infraction, and 5 white officers pulled him out and beat him up. The police chief says he doesn't think the attack was racially motivated, but police brutality, if that's what it was, won't be tolerated.
We are currently investigating the case. We're looking into the possibility of criminal prosecution if that's applicable.
But the head of Nashville's Black Police Officers Association calls it an example of racism and says the white officers ought to be fired.
We've got officers on the street who, when they see black people, black citizens, feel that they have a right to abuse them. That's the issue.
The Nashville incident's reminiscent of one last month in New York City when a black undercover transit policeman, Derwin Pennell, was seriously wounded by 2 white transit officers who fired 21 shots at him while he was making an arrest, his gun drawn in a subway. His fellow officers assumed he was a mugger. Pennell's still in the hospital recovering. Too often, it seems, policemen see a black man on the street, suspect the worst, and act accordingly.
Some people, officers, do not take the time to judge to realize that there are African-American officers who dress like the people in the street.
The Pennell case has now prompted the New York City police to start sensitivity training sessions in hopes of preventing any more of this.
In my neighborhood, when I was a child, a white man with a gun is a cop. A black man or a Hispanic man with a gun is a criminal.
Critics say this peril of mistaken identity goes far beyond New York City and Nashville.
It's a problem that I think is indicative of policing in our country, and one that has come about due to, again, who we think criminals are or where we think crime happens.
Everybody knows undercover cops do a dangerous job. The message from the last few weeks seems to be that if you're an undercover cop and you're black or Hispanic, it's doubly dangerous. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a building demand for new homes, potentially good news for the economy, and new help for recovering alcoholics who still crave a drink.
The day has gone from bad to worse. Her simple congestion has suddenly turned into a ragged cough and burning fever. Lisa Halley has the flu, and she knows she'd better get home fast to serious medicine. Doctor recommended Theraflu, soothing hot liquid medicine to ease the body aches, the cough, the fever, because the flu's nothing to kid around with. Theraflu, your flu misery stops here. And for powerful nighttime relief, new Theraflu Maximum Strength Nighttime.
Norelco says don't shave your legs, baby them. With Norelco's incredibly close, comfortable shave that leaves you baby smooth, baby soft. Norelco Lady Shave Razors, dry or wet, we make close comfortable.
Here's a great big idea.
Salad shooter.
From Presto, professional salad shooter slicer shredder. Big capacity and power. Special blades to point and slice thick, slice thin, shred, even ripple cut. Right where you want.
Salad shooter.
From Presto.
A few current and former members of Congress could be facing criminal charges in connection with the House banking scandal. A federal investigator is not naming names, but he recommended today that the Justice Department look into possible indictments. The investigation of overdrafts cleared most members, and the House bank has since closed. The home building business is picking up, according to the latest report from the government. CBS News money correspondent Ray Brady looks at what's behind this new demand for homes.
Yeah, this looks a little bigger than this one.
Deborah and Steve Miller are helping to perk up the American economy.
So that's the only bathroom I carry?
Yeah, it's a one-bed. They're house hunting, and they want to buy now.
We just want to get into a house. You know, we've saved some money, ready to make the move.
People like the Millers sent housing starts, the building of new homes, up last month to their highest level in 8 months. As builders see them looking and buying, they start to build.
The quality of the people that are coming out to look are more serious.
True, you don't hear the rat-tat-tat of hammers everywhere. Starts were down 4.8% in the Northeast and down 8.6% in the Midwest. But in two big chunks of the country, the South and the West, they each rose 6.3%. Some think this buying's coming because people feel better after the election. Realtors say it's because mortgage rates and housing prices are low. But much of this buying is really pent-up demand, coming from people who have to buy, and buy now.
Connie, thank you for calling Weichert Realtors.
Look in any realtor's office. These buyers are baby boomers who missed the boom of the 1980s.
Rates are really good, and which is going to give you a lot more buying power.
People like Andy Wertheim. His wife and 2 kids have outgrown their space. He's just bought.
The house is probably twice as big as the house we had before. It's not a mansion, but it's certainly bigger than we expected to buy at this point.
Ask Barbara Treisman her reason.
We need space, and we'd like to start a family.
And let's face it, they're buying because a home of your own is still the American dream.
Well, we'll probably have our first baby here. If, you know, our first house, have our kids, and, you know, it's just exciting.
Some place to have the rest of the family over for holidays.
So they look and they look, because buying a house could be the start of a whole new life for the Millers and for the U.S. economy. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, defense companies helped win the Cold War. But what are they going to do now? Well, some are going to the amusement park.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes fast when speed counts. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
You're looking at the birth of an entirely new form of antacid. New Mylanta gel caps. Easy to swallow with absolutely no chalky taste. The potency of Mylanta antacid now in a gel cap. My doctor said Mylanta.
I like to visit my grandma. She's pretty nice. She always tells us these neat stories. She likes to make us cookies, too. She'd come over our house more often, but my mom says she has a hard time walking sometimes. But when I was in the play at school, she was there. It was great.
Over 16 million Americans suffer from the pain of common arthritis. But with the help of Tylenol and regular exercise, it doesn't seem to keep grandmas like Myra Bedford from being a best friend to a boy named Robert and his little brother Charles.
I love my grandma. I hope she lives forever.
For arthritis pain relief, Tylenol. It helps.
This baby was born much too soon. How far would you go to save him? The race to save the smallest survivors. 48 hours tonight.
The World Health Organization reports tonight that within a few years, Asia will overtake sub-Saharan Africa as the global center of new AIDS infections. Right now, the agency says sub-Saharan Africa is home to some 60% of the world's HIV or AIDS victims. Now, from around the world, more CBS News. German Chancellor Helmut Kohl was in Moscow for the first time since the Soviet Union collapsed. He forgave $11 billion in Russian debt, and President Yeltsin agreed to speed up the withdrawal of Russian troops from Germany. At talks in Geneva, Russia backed the Serbian cause in the former Yugoslavia. U.S. Secretary of State Eagleberger said Serb leaders, including the Serbian president, should be tried for alleged war crimes. In Rome, the doctor is out. In fact, 20,000 of them are out on strike, protesting proposed Italian health care reforms. Thousands of Italian doctors could lose their government jobs and be forced to compete in private practice. It was 1963 when black civil rights leader Medgar Evers was assassinated in Mississippi. Byron de la Beckwith stood trial twice, both ending in mistrials. Today, the Mississippi Supreme Court ruled there is enough evidence against de la Beckwith to try him again. And President and former ball player George Bush gave the world champion Toronto Blue Jays a belated White House welcome. Manager Cito Gaston got a baseball card with the president's picture. Mr. Bush joked he'll soon be a rookie in need of a job. There's some bad tidings of the season tonight. Underwriters Laboratory says that there may be thousands of unsafe electric Christmas candles on the market. These carry fake labels claiming the lights have UL approval. You can identify them by a yellow tag with the code number E127417 and issue number F3362. UL says that the electric candles can short circuit, and if you have one, you should unplug it and return it to the store. Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, getting off alcohol and staying off. There's something new that may help.
A short while ago, Carol Walters was troubled with arthritis pain. But she promised Pete they'd go for their run. So she took a Motrin IB, the same medicine as in the Motrin doctors have prescribed for years, but in non-prescription strength. And just one Motrin IB works as well as 2 regular aspirin. So now Carol's ready.
Let's go, Pete.
Pete's been ready for a while. Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin in non-prescription strength.
It's time for Lobster Fest, our annual classic event, but only now at Red Lobster. The sea's ultimate classic, Maine lobster, rock lobster, grilled lobster, and more. All freshly prepared in specially priced combinations only during Lobster Fest. Now at Red Lobster. And for the holidays, try Party Platters to go, ready in 1 hour.
When the person who doctors the family gets a cough and cold, everyone suffers.
Mom, someone took my sleeve.
I earned it myself. Time to doctor that cough with Robitussin, because more doctors and pharmacists recommend Robitussin than any other cough medicine.
Look, Mom's feeling better. Uh-oh.
Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Which Robitussin is right for you? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. And now there's Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
If today's teens seem healthy and happy, why are their doctors being told to take a closer look? We'll tell you tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
2 new studies of a futuristic drug offer the best hope in years for battling one of the deadliest diseases in America. As CBS News health correspondent Edie Magnus reports, it's another example of how science can save lives, not to mention billions of dollars in healthcare costs.
It's a monster, and it destroys a lot of things. You know, it's destroyed my marriage, almost destroyed my job, almost destroyed my house, my credit rating.
The monster is alcoholism, and it stalks more than 20 million Americans every day. The cost to the nation is staggering, nearly $100 billion in lost productivity and medical costs, 100,000 lives lost in alcohol-related deaths. For the alcoholic, the toll is harder to measure.
Guilt, from your, for your family and your friends, people that, that stand by you, that want you to get better.
Now, researchers have identified the first prescription drug to offer real hope for people battling alcoholism. Studies at the University of Pennsylvania and at Yale University found the drug naltrexone can prevent relapses in recovering alcoholics by reducing their craving for a drink.
It helps in the early stages of treatment to help people refrain from relapsing during those critical first 3 months when relapses are very common.
In one study, only 23% of those who took naltrexone combined with behavioral therapy went back to drinking, compared to 54% of the group who had therapy alone. For some who'd slid from sobriety many times before, this drug was a godsend.
I am convinced, I myself am convinced, that this would not have all been possible without the help of that naltrexone.
Naltrexone works by blocking certain pleasure-producing chemicals produced by the brain. In other words, blocking an addict's high. The drug is currently used to treat heroin addiction, but despite results suggesting a similar effect with alcohol, some experts are cautioning against too much optimism too soon.
These are only 2 studies. They went on for 3 months. The results, of course, are promising enough to warrant continued study, but they are not the final ones.
Still, for patients like Margaret, naltrexone has meant a new life and a new sense of self-respect.
Just figuring I would never be able to take this. I mean, just couldn't tell me that I would be able to. And 3 years later.
Edie Magnus, CBS News, New York.
Oh yeah, we're gonna twist! Tater twister, big surprise! Cuts and shapes, some curly fries!
Presto Tater Twister Electric Curly Cutter. Money-saving curly cuts from fresh vegetables. Spiral cuts too. Thrifty, easy fun.
Tater Twister!
From Presto. Miserable sinus and nasal congestion. Last year you wanted a prescription, but this year Tavis D in its full prescription strength is available without a prescription. Tavis D, 1 tablet, 12 hours, and now no prescription.
This holiday season, you're going to be hearing the phrase, "You can count on me," a lot. It's a promise that every Sears associate makes to each and every Sears customer. We promise we'll be there when you need us, with great gift ideas, to exchange an item on the spot, and most of all, because our jobs have been streamlined to focus all our energy on serving you, which means we promise to do our best to make sure you're completely satisfied. I'm Curtis Wiggins, and you can count on me.
The Remington Microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Flexible screens let you shave below skin level. The Remington Microscreen. Ladies, shave in or out of the shower. The Lady Remington Wet Dry.
It always happens at the worst time. A sudden attack of diarrhea. And you'd give anything to get back in control. Introducing Pepto Diarrhea Control. It's made with the strongest diarrhea medicine you can buy. So it often stops diarrhea the first time you take it. Nothing works better than this. And this is from Pepto-Bismol. Take control with new Pepto Diarrhea Control.
I recommend Isotoner Lady Slippers. Now this is an angle to get some good footage. So start the season out on the right foot.
Isotoner Slippers.
For 50 years, many American companies, communities, and careers were built around fighting the Cold War. Well, the war's over. What do they do now? Some say simply pound those swords into plowshares. But it is not that simple, as John Blackstone reports in tonight's Eye on America.
San Diego often seems like one big military base. From the fighters overhead to the ships in the harbor, to the Marine recruits graduating from boot camp. And it isn't only those in uniform who serve. Over the decades, civilian workers in San Diego have built the planes, ships, and weapons that made America strong.
This is a new warhead design.
At Aerowind Incorporated, they build titanium nose cones for Tomahawk missiles. And now they build something else to make America strong. Exercise machines.
Well, now with this machine, you're competing against King Kong, climbing the Empire State Building.
Aerowind has moved into an unlikely business for a maker of missile parts. But with defense budgets shrinking, the company has to find new products civilians are willing to buy.
everybody agrees that in this country we want to convert over to products that we can get some immediate benefits from now.
Campaigning in San Diego, Bill Clinton promised help converting the skills of defense workers to build America's post-Cold War economy.
We ought to do it with technologies that will put people to work who used to make money in defense.
But some of the city's biggest military suppliers show no desire to change. The huge defense contractor, General Dynamics, says it will simply lay off workers to match the smaller military budgets. Fortunately for San Diego's workers, some smaller companies are more enthusiastic about finding new things to do.
There's one defense contractor in San Diego that has no trouble figuring out what it can build for the civilian market. The National Steel and Shipbuilding Company wants to build ships. Easier said than done.
This year, about 1,000 ships will be built around the world that are commercial ships, and the United States will build one.
Even conversion enthusiasts admit the move into new markets won't be easy. American shipbuilders face a commercial market dominated by government-subsidized yards in Germany and Japan.
You know, without help, what the future is likely to be here.
Without help, this yard will be a graveyard.
In the world of defense contracting, where competition is limited, the commercial world looks daunting indeed.
The key is to take the blinders off, to recognize that what you're doing today may not be what you're doing tomorrow. But
Bob Waller's company specializes in naval engineering, a declining business. So now the company's computers are being used to help the post office sort mail. And business is growing. The same satellite positioning equipment that guided American tanks through the deserts of Iraq is being adapted by Ball Systems in San Diego to guide tow trucks and taxis through city streets.
I think in not very long there will be far more commercial use of that system than military use.
Ball Systems also makes training equipment for combat pilots. The company is now using that same technology to develop a ride it will sell to amusement parks. It's an entry into a scary world for a company accustomed to doing business with the military.
The commercial industry is much more cutthroat, much more difficult to work in.
San Diego helped produce both the warriors and the weapons that won the Cold War. But now that communism has been crushed, defense contractors face an ironic new task: learning to survive in the free markets of capitalism. In San Diego, this is John Blackstone for Eye on America.
And that's part of our world tonight. Coming up on 48 Hours, you will see and hear babies born before they're ready and the life and death struggle to save them. The inspiring story of America's smallest survivors on 48 Hours, tonight at 10, 9 Central Time. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. I'll see you again soon on 48 Hours.
Experience CBS News.
While Somalia's children starve, try this statistic on for size. Nearly 30 million Americans don't have enough to eat.
How does that make you feel that mom and dad aren't eating all the time?
Kind of sad.
Hunger at home. Eye on America investigates tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. This is CBS.
Wishing you all the best this holiday.
From our... Wishing you and your...
Hey, I'm ready when you are.
Wishing you a...
Hey, these are like real trees.
They are real trees.
Warm wishes for a wonderful holiday.